Everyone out there, you are watching Rob's MetalWorks, and we are continuing our work during the pandemic era, yes, to bring you the best in Texas metal. And tonight we have the fourth time in his 10-year storied career since I've known the man. Yes, one of the most revered guitarists and one of the most genuine people that I've ever met here in the San Antonio metal scene. I have with me the man, Mr. Austin Zettner. How you doing, sir?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I always love having you around, man, because, you're such a good soul, and I love to talk about music with you and about what you're doing because, it gets deep, and I really, really dig that. As I mentioned, we're in the pandemic era, so how have you kind of been adjusting these last few months?
To be honest with you, I kind of like it. I don't drive very much. I can stay home and do Skype lessons and just get a lot of work done. I have a lot of projects I'm finishing.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've kind of heard that from a few different musicians, and I think a lot of people in the industry are also taking the time to kind of really just focus on music now.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I'm glad I'm healthy. Everyone I know is healthy. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. The last time you were here was back in 2017, and I remember at that time, we always talk about your aspirations, and I remember at that time you had told me, you said, Rob, I want to go to Finland and record with Ansi Kippo, and I was like, who's that? And you're like, Rob, he's the world-acclaimed, platinum-selling Finnish producer. He's worked with Children of Bodom and all these killer bands. And so, we all have our wild aspirations, and I never actually thought that you would make it come to fruition, and you actually did. Why was it so important for you to work with Ansi Kippo?
Well, first of all, once I get my mind set on something, I usually end up doing it. But Ansi Kippo is the producer of some of my favorite albums, like Something Wild, Hatebreeder, Hate Crew Death Roll, all by Children of Bodom, and he also did some 2 recent albums with Inspirum, one of my favorite bands. So I had the idea in my head that if we make an album with him, we're going to get the same kind of results as my favorite bands.
Yeah.
And plus, I love Finland. I love Finnish metal, so that just seemed like a dream come true to go do that.
When you actually, we're going to talk about you did actually go over there to Finland. When you actually met the man. Did you like him? Was he a cool dude? Was he what you thought he was going to be?
I mean, I could not predict what he was really like.
Yeah.
He was very much like a teacher. Like, he wanted to show us so many things. And he was pretty hard on us, but those lessons have been very valuable for me as a musician ever since.
Yeah. I mean, he's a master producer, so I would think that when you were actually there in his environment, in his studio, that you would take the opportunity to try to absorb as much as you could from him.
Yeah, and it's the hard lessons that teach you the most. So,
what was one of the hardest lessons?
We did a lot of takes over and over because he said it was not in time, and basically what we realized is you have to be relaxed and you have to kind of just groove like in this zen-like state, because if you're too tense, then you're going to be too fast and you're not going to be locked into the groove. And he did everything analog, so you can't just drag things into place. It really has to be locked in from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that in a bit. So did you find the recording process, was it because he was kind of driving you? Did you find it difficult, or was it something that you were able to adjust to his process? Like, how long did you feel like it took longer than you were expecting?
Yeah, it was kind of a slow process at first to actually get those takes that we could use. But
are you talking like the rough tracks, like the roughs?
That as well. Yeah, we did demos first, kind of live all at once, everybody, and then we went back over and redid everything, making sure everything was perfect. Well, as good as it can be, as you would say, because you always have a limit of time.
And then after that, that's when the actual recording began?
Yeah, we learned so much. It took longer, but also everything we captured was very real. There was a real live energy that you don't get in a lot of records these days because it's so processed and edited and just fake.
Right. Right. And I think that's one of the things I've always kind of loved about you is like you're very organic with what you do, and even in your playing. You said like I've heard you say we a couple of times. So I think people know because of just the social media promotion of this record that Samir, the bass player, went with you, and then your other guitar player John went with you to Finland. So they were there to record their parts. Who did the drums for the record?
We had the session drummer Tony Ponnanen. He's from Finland, and he works very closely with Ansi. And that was actually a great idea because he already knew what Ansi's expectations are, and we got the drums done pretty quickly, at least.
Yeah. Did you kind of like what he was doing, or was he playing what you had kind of brought in, or did he kind of add some new stuff?
He did add some stuff. Like he added some like beats, or he added some fills that were like 5 beats long, just kind of weird stuff from different genres. Stuff that I don't notice because I'm not a drummer, but actually it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad that he was there to kind of do that. You know, I remember when I found out that you were going to Finland, I was like, holy smokes, you know, he's actually really doing it. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of personal commitment, the amount of emotional commitment, going into another country, flying how many hours?
8 or 9, I would think.
Oh, yeah. Flying 8 hours around the world. And then also the financial commitment. Obviously, I wouldn't imagine Ansi's cheap to hire to record, but also your travel. So, I mean, it was a huge commitment on your part and everybody else's part to kind of make this record happen.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure too, you know, not to screw it up because there's a lot on the line.
Yeah. We talked about the digital kind of versus analog type of recording. Was that your deal, or is that Ansi's deal?
I actually first contacted Ansi in like 2015, 2014, and during the time between then and when we actually met with him, he converted his studio to analog because he discovered that something wasn't right with his digital recording, and he found it with analog, and that was really interesting. We actually did the whole album on tape with no computers, no pitch correction, anything like that.
So when before you went over there, he says we're doing it in analog.
Yes, he was really selling us on the idea of how much better it is. I didn't know anything about it, but I learned a lot.
Yeah. Obviously, no quick fixes. Obviously, thus the long hours and the many takes.
Yeah. But like I said, there's something real about that in the end result.
Yeah, I've heard that, you know, for many big musicians that they like recording in analog. Obviously, it's more convenient and cost effective to do digital, but still, you know, it all depends on how honest you want to be with your art, and then how you give it to the people out there. Now, Ryze, your latest release, the latest Æternal Requiem release, for some of you out there who don't yet have it, look for it. It came out almost a year ago, last summer. Great 8 songs on it. I've been a big fan of it for a long, long time. To me, I think one of the most important things that I love about Æternal Requiem and Ryze is that you guys have like your own vibe. You know, if I hear a song, I'm like, oh, that's Æternal Requiem. I know your voice, I know your tone, I know your guitar playing, and that's so important because there's a lot of bands out there, even here in San Antonio, who I hear them and I say, oh man, they just sound like this other band. But Æternal Requiem doesn't. When we were off camera, we were talking about like, oh, you know, especially when I hear the intro for the record, that's called intro. It's a very folky type of intro. And even in some of your press, I've seen like, oh, you know, it's kind of like a folk metal, neoclassical type of vibe. What is it about that style that kind of endears you to those kind of tags?
Well, it kind of started when I discovered Randy Rhoads, you know, hearing classical music with metal. I've been hooked on that sound. I got into Children of Bodom when they were having that in their sound, and Winter Sun and Inspirum and all those European bands. So I've always loved that sound and wanted to make my own band kind of like that. But also, the vocals. I wanted to have some vocals that don't usually go with that, something lower, maybe like my voice. I think I learned some lessons since recording this album, like how I could write in a key that would be better for my voice. Because some people said that, my voice sounded like too like conversational, so like in the future, I'll probably like, I don't know. Sorry, you'll have to cut this like silent. But I think I'm going to start writing in keys that kind of bring more energy out of my voice.
Okay. Yeah.
But still keep that formula of all the things I like.
I was privy also, I've always, because we were talking off camera. I've known this man since he was 17 years old, and I've been supporting him since he was 17 years old. I remember when I first met him down the road. I don't even know the name of that bar anymore. Do you?
What was it, Reptiles or
no, right down back there. Remember that little place?
I don't know.
I was hanging out with your dad. I don't remember that name of the little place. But no, not Clicks. But when I heard Ryze, I was like, man, this is like the quintessential version of Austin Zettner that we're getting. And so you've always have sent me your music. You've always kind of kept me in tune with what's going on with you. I remember I had the Into Forever demo in 2017. But when I heard this record, I was like, oh man, this is like so much, not only the production, but of course what you're doing on guitar, your vocals. How do you kind of feel you've matured musically from the Into Forever into the Ryze? Obviously, you're getting older. As years go by, you're getting better at what you do. What do you kind of feel attributed to? Really, what I felt, like I said, was a great piece of work with Ryze.
Thank you. I don't know. I guess everything I write is from real life, and I just believe in going for dreams. That's kind of what Ryze was about. Just rising up to who you got to be to do what you want to do, and just going for it. So there was that inspiration there, and I'm always trying to be a better musician.
Yeah.
Always trying. I think in this album I tried to get a little more interesting with the songwriting, and
Yeah.
I just try to do better than I did last time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too that I've always kind of loved about you is that, you're not content writing the coattails of joining a band that already existed. You always kind of said, Rob, I want to do my own fucking thing. I want to write my own music. I want to lead my own band. I mean, and that those types of aspirations go beyond the music. It's who you are as a person. So obviously you've gotten better. And when I started this interview, I said, one of the most revered guitar players, but also one of the most revered songwriters too. I know lots of guitar players, and there's those guitar players who are shredders and can't write a fucking song. Then there are those guys who are songwriters and can't shred. Then there's those guys who can shred and write songs. That's the man right here, Austin Zettner. So I think that's one of the things I've always loved about you. The songs on Ryze, were there a couple of songs on the release that were kind of reworked from older stuff?
Yeah, there were a couple songs that started actually with the first lineup of Æternal Requiem, Dead to the World and Day of Reckoning.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love Day of Reckoning because so much shred in that song.
Yeah. It's always been a fun one.
Yeah. And you talked about your vocals right now. And, I follow you on social media, so I see all your playthrough videos and what you're doing. Do you work as hard on your vocals as you do on your guitar playing?
To be honest, no. But as soon as we go back out there with some live shows and the next album, I'm going to have to kind of raise the bar with that too.
Yeah.
I was taking some lessons online with Melissa Cross.
Vocal lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can take a complex concept and make it very simple and easy to understand. And just one of those little truths she gave me was there's not lower is not better, higher is not better. Every instrument is different, and you just need to right in the best key for your voice. It's like wearing clothes of the right size.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm very excited to put on the new music. You know, just writing in the best key for my voice.
Right. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're gonna get there talking about new music, but I think you also touched about lyrically Ryze kind of rising up to the occasion.
Yep.
You also mentioned, Rob, if I set my mind to something, I'm gonna freaking do it. Which is really, inspiring to a lot of people, because I think, the other day I put on my Facebook, I said, ideas are easy. It's the execution that people find difficult. And I'm glad that, to see that you've kind of been able to execute too. I think that's so important.
And you don't want to steer away from the difficulty, because we learned so much being grilled in that studio for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't avoid all those hard lessons if you want to make it.
How long were you there in Finland?
We were actually there like 21 days, but we recorded the album in 9 days, and then he mixed and mastered in 3 days. And we had a couple rehearsal days, just catching up, jet lag, all that.
Yeah, cool. And did you live in the studio?
Yeah. You had some beds there, same beds that maybe some famous musicians were in.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the weirdest thing that you experienced being in Finland? The weirdest. I mean, it doesn't have to be musically related. Just anything.
Oh man. I mean, this trip I was pretty much in the studio the whole time, but there were some weird moments there too. One thing is the round of honor. Basically, he wants every band that goes there to go in the sauna and then get naked and run around the building.
Oh God!
Yeah.
You did that?
He said we had to do it, and then when we were all tired at the end, he's like, "So does anyone still want to do it?" And and that John wanted to do it, so John did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope there's video of that will surface one day. That's crazy. Yeah. Those crazy Finns, they want to get everybody naked. All right. Is that video in the documentary?
No, I didn't film that myself. Okay. I don't know if John filmed himself or not. Okay. I'll have to ask him. Yeah,
so let's talk about the documentary now. I was really kind of surprised because I didn't hear about that you guys were recording. Obviously, why wouldn't you? It's a great milestone for the band, being across the world, recording a record with a very prominent producer. Was that always kind of? Did you guys always? Or obviously, you guys had that plan. Like we want to document.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that, and I thought it was the perfect time. And I just bought a camcorder from Best Buy right before that could record 2 hours, and we were good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it? Did you want to kind of make it more for the fans, or kind of? Obviously, the recording consists primarily of you guys working. So is it more kind of like for the musicians out there, or both?
Yeah, I mean, I figured we were making history, so I wanted to capture it. But what we ended up capturing is just like a lot of lessons that can be enjoyed by musicians, and even people who are not musicians are watching it, and they're telling us they watched the whole hour and a half and they loved it, and it's just really intriguing to a lot of people.
Yeah. So what do you think they'll most walk away with? Are they gonna what lesson or what memory will they most walk away with from the video? Or what do you remember most about the video?
About the documentary?
Yeah, the documentary.
Huh. Just everything we went through to make that album. I mean, some people messaged me personally saying like, wow, I didn't know it was like that to be in a band. I just thought y'all partied and got chicks and stuff. So,
and drank beer all day.
Yeah, people got to see how we worked ourselves,
Yeah, some people don't get it.
Yeah.
I've actually been interviewing a lot of young guys I remember from back in the day who are now really coming into their own, and people are just growing up, man, and realizing that music is work, and to be successful in the music world, you have to put in the commitment.
Yeah. Maybe people will actually want to pay us.
Yeah, hope so. Have you stayed in touch with Ansi since you left?
Yeah. Yeah, he watched the documentary and approved it, and gave me some really nice feedback about that. And he's still watching. He wants me to promote and really make the most out of this record.
We love you, Ansi Kippo. We've been talking about you for fucking 3 years already. Okay, so let's move on. Obviously, because of the pandemic, you haven't played a show in a while. I remember your last show, I think, that I saw was at Fitzgerald's. Great show. You definitely shredded and tore it up, and I loved hearing all the great songs live. Are you kind of anxious to play a live show at this point?
To be honest,
personally,
yeah. To be honest with you, I'm okay with waiting because there's so many things I want to work on in the meantime. It'll be great when we're back to playing shows, but I feel like there's so many things I need to do first.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that too, but kind of before we kind of walk away from Æternal Requiem, I know that I had heard that Samir and John are no longer in the band. Can you share a little bit or comment about their departure from Æternal Requiem?
Yeah, I mean they just love to play, and they got busy with some bands that had a lot of shows lined up. Samir first joined Oceans of Slumber, which is pretty well off band. He got to play in Europe and stuff. Maybe I would do the same thing. Yeah. But I understand that. And John joined some bands. In fact, they're both in Nahaya now, so that's one project they got going.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So when the time comes for you to kind of resurface Æternal Requiem, obviously you're gonna be looking for people to join the band and replace those guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a lot of time to look back at what worked and what didn't work with the songs, and probably write the next album better than ever. And once that's in place, we'll have to go play live, and it's going to be just a whole new level. Have
you been writing new Æternal Requiem songs at this point?
Yeah.
Or do you have any leftovers or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a very vast library of ideas, and then I would just take those and develop them into very listenable songs. Yeah. Try to get a little more ambitious with the arrangement and stuff.
Yeah, kind of like you said, trying to find that range where they will most work out.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest areas where I need to improve is just the vocals. But I think once I find my range where I have the emotion, that's something that Ansi demanded from me, more emotion in the voice. But I think you have to be in a certain part of your voice, a certain range to have that kind of expression. Because as I'm talking to you, it's kind of low, 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 low. But if I'm like, hey, that's different.
Yeah, that's great, and I really can't wait to hear new music from you. So be sure to send me the roughs when you get them. They're for me, and I just want to jam them. So one of the things too, I mean, I know you play guitar every day. You're just one of those guys, man, and you're so committed to what you do. But one of the things that I've always kind of loved about you and Æternal Requiem is your songs. They're these epic fucking journal, you go through a journey when you listen to these songs, I think most of your songs range around the 5-minute time frame. They're not little tunes, they're big, long, epic songs.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite bands are Inspirum, Children of Bodom, where they have so many different changing riffs. So when I started writing songs, I had verse, chorus, easy. But now I want to get more developed. I want to take you a little further into this journey with me.
Yeah, cool. So it's gonna stay along that vein.
Yeah, but I don't want it to get too long.
I
just want to be interesting and just more into it. Just more content, more journey.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear your songs, you kind of sometimes you'll start off with this really subtle kind of thingy, acoustic thingy, then it'll blow up into this thing. It's almost kind of like this operatic type of, or neoclassical type of vibe, and those kinds of songs are always take time to develop. So, yeah, man, I can't wait to hear more about it. Let's move on. So, I know there's a lot of other things that you're doing, and as we kind of segue into some of that work, let's talk about Jesse Lopez for a second, the late guitarist for Aggravator. I know you were good friends with him. How did y'all kind of meet?
Actually met when I was in Imminent Descent. We were both playing the Dirty Dog Bar, and then he was over there in the corner just, being antisocial, doing some tapping, and I was doing the same thing. And then I was just like, "Hey, are those tapping arpeggios?" And then he was like, "Yeah, we should jam." And so then I just went over to his house, and we started jamming like that for a long time.
Yeah, I saw some killer videos that you guys did together, and it was kind of like more like a fun thing, right? Yep. Just kind of on YouTube. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, these two dudes are great together. And then I remember also thinking, like, they're so different as individuals, as people. Like, you're kind of like this really straight up, kind of straight edge kind of guy, and Jesse was kind of a wild child. So I remember I was thinking, man, to have these two guys together is kind of like a yin yang. Did you kind of feel that way?
Somewhat. I mean, I saw how similar we were, but obviously we had different habits.
Yeah. I remember when I heard about his passing in 2018, I was really kind of taken back by it. I had the pleasure of meeting him. He came over here when we first interviewed Aggravator. Were you surprised about his passing?
Yes. Yeah, I did not expect that at all.
How did it kind of impact you?
First, it was just like disbelief. Like, is this really possible? And just wanted to find answers. And something I wanted to do when he was alive is get him to like record his music. I always loved his music, and then it just became even more important at that point to do that for him.
I remember you're talking about non-Aggravator music.
Yes.
This was his solo stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of music that I guess a lot of people haven't heard because he would just play it on his own, and not in Aggravator, not in Black Jackal, not in Woman Thrower. It was just his own music, but he never recorded it in an official release.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah.
But I remember after his passing too that I remember hearing that you had kind of stepped into his shoes and did some shows with Aggravator.
Yeah.
How did kind of that happen?
That was just kind of the beginning of me wanting to learn his music that inspired me so much. And in Aggravator, he wrote the solos. So they had shows, and there was an opportunity to learn his solos, and I thought I'd just throw out the idea if they wanted me to do that, and they did.
Well, you had to learn, some of Derek's crazy thrash too, because you're not just soloing in that. Yeah. So what was the experience like playing in Aggravator?
Well, like you just mentioned, a lot of down picking. I'm not really good at that, so I might have cheated a little bit here and there. But yeah, that was an interesting run. We did at least one show in San Antonio. I can't remember if it was one or two, but that was a very emotional show because all Jesse's friends were there.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a memorial or almost a gathering to remember him almost. So that was a really emotional time. And then we also went to Milwaukee, and that was really interesting. Traveling with those guys, they have a lot of fun, to say the least.
Yeah.
But
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I know those crazy cats. Yeah. So, but I'm thinking too, like it was like there's no better choice than his friend to step in his shoes.
Yeah. I wanted to really do my best.
Aggravator released a self-titled EP last fall, and I know that those were kind of like the songs on that EP represented kind of like the last recordings that Jesse had done for the band. But you even did recorded a solo for that EP too, right?
Yeah, even before I played shows with them, I was approached with a video of Jesse playing this solo, but it was the cell phone video. And
He had never recorded it.
exactly, it needed to be on the album, so I learned that from that cell phone video and then finished that for him.
What was the song called?
Suspended agonal breathing.
Suspended agonal breathing. God, how brutal. Were you ever asked to officially join Aggravator?
Yeah, I was pretty much the guy until I told them that I had done my tribute and I just have to probably move on. And what's really cool is that the bassist is now taking up that position.
Oh, Tristan.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Tristan, cool. Great. I'm glad that that they're moving forward, and I'm glad that you are doing your own thing too. I know that you kind of alluded to earlier that because you were so tight with Jesse and that you were privy enough to hear his kind of solo stuff. I don't think a lot of people ever heard that stuff or outside of his inner circle. Not at least people in the music scene. Now, I remember the last time that you were here to hang out, we talked about this, and you were telling me, Rob, I want to do a project, an official recording of Jesse's music. Is that still something that you want to do?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm dead set on it.
So elaborate a little bit on that. Like how did you get access to his music? How many songs? Share a little bit about what that music is like. Is it thrash metal? Is it even metal at all? Is it more, guitar oriented? Talk a little bit about whether you're going to have vocals on it, or where you're going to record it. Tell us everything you can about that project at this point.
Well, for starters, I have some demos that we actually made together. Cell phone recordings or just some recordings on my computer. So got those, and then recently I got his family to help me out. They gave me a lot of files that were on his old computer.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah, so I have all those, and there's still more that I remember hearing that I didn't find files for, but I'm just going to do my best to connect the dots and showcase the best that I can put together.
How many tracks you think?
It would definitely be a full album. At least 8. That's what I consider a full album, I guess.
Yeah. Is it metal or is it guitar swingy stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty diverse actually. Some of it is black metalish, kind of atmospheric, and some of it is just very soft, but it all has like this kind of dreamy, kind of otherworldly vibe to it with good melody.
Yeah. Now, when the time comes for you to release this LP, is it going to be Austin Zettner?
It's definitely going to be about Jesse. I haven't thought of how the title would look or anything, but I would just.
Well, I mean, it has to be Austin Zettner. I mean, you're playing it, but I mean, yeah, I mean.
Zettner plays Lopez, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, the title could be dedicated and alluded to Jesse, but obviously you're playing it.
But really, the people this is for is like the people who loved him and miss him so much. So,
yeah.
He has a lot of artwork. Like he was a visual artist also.
Oh, cool. You're going to use that too?
Yeah. I want to kind of
Nice.
make this as a work of art all about him.
Nobody else can do it but you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear it. When would you anticipate? I mean, where would you? Are you going to record it yourself?
I'm probably just going to start making demos and then see if it'll be good enough. And then if not, then I'll reach out for help. It's got to be good.
Remember Brian Eckerman was here?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people who could help me.
He'd be the best guy to help you, in my opinion. But yeah, you know a lot of people. Can't wait to hear that, man. It's going to be a great homage to the late great Jesse Lopez, who will be remembered in our music scene for a long, long time. Okay, so as we get near the end of this interview, one of the cool things too that I've loved about you, and I kind of follow this mantra even in my own life, is I love to make an impact in people's lives. I love to touch people's lives. You've been a guitar instructor at Alamo Music for like I think as far as I can remember.
Yep.
Have you been able to work during the pandemic doing guitar instruction?
I'm very thankful to say yes. Yeah. I've done Skype. I've done Zoom. A couple people still want to meet in person, and we do that carefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still going strong.
Yeah, I see your videos, man, with the young kids. You're kind of not only gonna be a future legend, but you're cultivating the future legends of our scene. When we're old people, these guys are gonna be kicking ass in the music scene. How gratifying is it for you to see young people come into guitar?
It's great, and honestly, they give it right back to me. They remind me why I started, and I grow with them at the same time. We work on songs. I got to figure it out, and then
Inspirum. Did I say that right?
Inspirum. I was working on Inspirum today.
No, Rob. Yeah. Inspirum. Yeah, God, I saw your playthrough today. Yeah, man, that's great. You're teaching them like heavy shit.
Yeah, that's one of my kind of power metal students.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he sought me out because I guess
so they tell you like, hey, teach like. I want to learn Inspirum, so go learn it and then come teach me?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my teaching style because you can do exercises, which are important, but I like to apply those to actual music. So within the music, you can find all these lessons in there,
Yeah, cool. That's great, man. I'm glad that you're able to keep busy, and thank goodness for technology. Technology keeps us busy. I'm a teacher too, so it has helped me continue to work from home. That's great, man. I think at this point, you're well known enough and respected enough to kind of do your own thing. So I know that kind of avenue for you to work will only continue to grow as you continue to improve your career. And I saw a playthrough, I think, that you posted today. And I was like, man, that's a badass guitar he's playing. And, over the years, I've seen you play many different types of guitars, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever seen you say, oh, this is what I play and this is all I play. There's some people out there like that. So that today I saw the videos, the Ibanez Zyphos guitar, right? Yeah. It looked orange in the video, but you were telling me it's red.
Yeah, that's actually a 1-year run model from 2009.
Oh yeah.
Yep. In the first few years I had it it was not set up correctly, so it was like in a case, but now I've got it set up right and I'm enjoying it.
Did you have to take it? Who do you take it to set it up?
I think the person who finally got that right was Paul over at Sam Ash.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like the neck adjustment or the bridge or what?
Yeah, that has a floating bridge, so
yeah.
If that's not right, it'll never be in tune.
Is that your main guitar right now?
I have different guitars for different purposes. Actually, that one is in standard tuning and use it for Seventh Son, but in Æternal Requiem, I've been doing D-tuning, so I would have to set it up lower to use it there.
Yeah. How many guitars do you actually own?
At least 10, probably more.
You don't know?
Not sure, no.
Why, do you have some of them in storage or what?
Yeah, some in storage, some at my old parents' house, and they're just kind of scattered.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Don't sell them. Keep them. Which one's your fave? If someone said, "Oh, here are all your guitars, pick one." Which one would you pick?
If I could only keep one, I would definitely keep the Zyphos.
Yeah, the Zyphos.
It's the most unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that body style called the Zyphos?
Yeah, that X.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Jackson Warrior.
Yeah. Very cool.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah, beautiful guitar. Cool, man. You kind of mentioned something right now that I wasn't going to bring up, but you mentioned Seventh Son. I noticed that you've been kind of playing in that band for quite a while. Obviously, very popular Iron Maiden cover band. For some of you people who don't know, how are things going with Seventh Son? Obviously, you guys have kind of built a reputation now, and it can go out and earn some money being Seventh Son.
Before coronavirus, that was the case. Yeah.
Fucking coronavirus.
Yep.
Do you keep your Maiden chops up or what? Or is that stuff like old hat? You got it.
Well, actually, the guys want to learn some really deep cuts soon, so
cool.
I would have to start practicing that. But I've been putting it off since we don't have any shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey. You have a lot of other things to tend to. All right, Austin. Anything I missed? Anything that you want to share that maybe I didn't cover?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. You can check out Ryze on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can stream music. I have the CDs for sale at austinzettner.com/shop. Yeah.
There you go. Everybody pick up a hard copy. Be old school like me. I had to have Austin bring me another copy because the one I had, a friend of mine came over and we were jamming to Æternal Requiem Ryze, and he loved it so much I gave him my copy. So thank you for bringing me another copy.
Thanks for sharing the word.
Yeah, man. I'm always promoting. Okay, great, Austin. I hope you stay busy, this year. I can't believe it's already July. We're not far from the fall season. Time is flying by. The days are just like fading in and out. Stay in contact with us, man. I always, want to know about what you're doing, and I can't talk about Austin Zettner if I don't know what you're doing. So thank you very much for coming over in the pandemic era. Remember, everyone out there, the latest from Austin Zettner and his band Æternal Requiem is called Ryze. The man told you can get a hard copy or just go download it right now and rock to some neoclassical folk metal. You're gonna love it. You saw the man only right here on Rob's Metalworks.